Minimalists.
How do we tactfully ask loved ones not to give us gifts, especially those who grew up with gift giving as a practice to show appreciation for others?
Well, I have a pithy answer. I'm curious what you would say about this, Meg. This is really the core of the minimalist gift getting rule. And I just summed it up in a tweetable phrase. Don't practice saying no, practice saying yes to what matters. I think too often we get caught up in this position. I know I do, especially when someone's giving my daughter these things I don't want them to give. I always want to say, no, stop. But let me step back for a second and say, well, what are they trying to accomplish here? Clearly they love me. They're trying to add value to my life, right? And what am I saying? No, stop loving me. Stop adding value to my life. Well, instead of saying that, maybe I should figure out a better way to communicate what would add value to my life. If you're getting me a pair of cufflinks or a necktie, then it could just be that you didn't know that those things wouldn't add value to my life. I should probably do a better job setting expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree. It could either be in a broad sense of making sure they understand your values. For example, we're really trying to cut down on the amount of plastic we bring in the house. We don't want to continue voting with our dollars for more plastic items and contributing to landfills where it lasts for thousands upon thousands of years and goes into our air and water. So I've been trying to subtly get that across to family members to maybe shift their focus to more wooden or glass or stainless steel if they would really want to just find a better sustainable option for the item that they think will add value to our life. The other thing I suggest, I'm as a woman, I love Pinterest. I do. I get sucked into the vortex and I love the organization of everything. I love that.
What's your Pinterest handle for folks listening?
It's I should be Meg Nordman.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have tons of minimalist Christmas boards.
Oh, great. Well, let's put a link to
Awesome.
Meg's Pinterest in the show notes, Sean.
Great. So I think if you organize a Pinterest board as a wish list, that way you can have links from everywhere. You know, you could make a Target wish list or an Amazon wish list, but then you're confined to one single source. Yeah. So I like Pinterest for that reason because it can be pinned from any website. So I do like to send one board to all the grandmoms and all the aunts and say, if you're interested in getting something for the girls this year, these are some of the items I was looking at. And those items will be little wooden toys or certain children's books on topics that I think they would find interesting. So that's one way.
Because it gives them the ability to be intentional. Now, Ryan, you and I we did a Minimalist Weddings episode. And in doing that, we exposed that during you and I both had weddings for our first marriages, and we exposed that a lot of the gifts we got were rather unintentional. Somehow I ended up with 3 bread makers. Now I don't eat bread, so that's a bad gift in general, but 3 is especially bad. Now part of that was bad because I probably didn't do a good enough job setting expectations, but 2 is think about what we're doing here. We're creating obligation. And these obligatory gift-giving days, it actually takes all of the intention out of the holiday season. And so when we do something like what you're doing with the Pinterest board, you're injecting intention into it. You're allowing people to be more deliberate. You feel better about it. They feel better about it. It's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really what Meg's talking about here is showing the gifts that she can say yes to. And it goes right in line with what you were saying. So let's say that you set these expectations, you send out the list, and people still, like you said earlier in the podcast, people are still going to like maybe overstep those boundaries. My pithy answer is this: receiving love is more important than receiving gifts. So when someone does overstep their boundaries, overstep your boundaries, even though you've laid them out clearly, you've told them what you can say yes to, and they still just want to show you love by getting you something, like you said earlier, receive that. Tell them, okay, great. I appreciate the love that you're trying to give me. Give them a hug. But you know, there are certain family members who they're not they're going to do what they want to do rather than what you want to do. And I think you still need to have those tough conversations, have them with grace. But ultimately, the goal is to receive the love that your friend or family member is trying to give you.
Exactly. And to me, the goal is togetherness for the holidays. So I have a chapter called Presence over Presence. And so just be present with them. Don't let your face get all red hot when you realize that a giant plastic play set is now in your living room.
Right.
Let the kids have a blast on it for the next couple of days while they're there in town. Maybe you haven't seen them in months because of the pandemic or because they live 12 hours away. So just accept it with grace and gratitude and be present with the kids, present with the family members. And then, when you do your spring cleaning and you take down the decorations, you can do your post-Christmas decluttering.
Right. You could find whatever it is a really good home. But I want to differentiate what we're saying here. What we are saying is to appreciate the love, to appreciate the act. It doesn't mean that you have to appreciate the item that they gave you, but you can certainly appreciate the intention that they have for your Christmas.
Yeah, let me just wrap up with something practical here, and this is from the Minimalist gift giving rule in the Minimalist rule book. Since you mentioned presence is the best present, there's sort of a section there where we talk about, what if you decided to gift only experiences this year as an experiment, right? How much more memorable would your holidays be? Consider these experiences: concert tickets, a home-cooked meal, tickets to a play or a musical, breakfast in bed, a back rub. We did this recently. I bought, my friend...
you haven't given me a back rub in so long.
It's been weeks.
Social distancing.
Right.
Our friend Randy Kay, who's been on this podcast, she is a massage therapist. And so I asked her, I surprised Bex with this. I asked Randy, what massage table should we get? So we have a massage table at home now. And of course, because of the 90-90 rule, I have to use it regularly.
Right.
And which is a great excuse to get a back rub or to give a back rub.
Yeah.
And it was, as long as it's something that we use, it was a wonderful family gift, basically, that Bex and I, it's a gift that they say the gift that keeps on giving, because as long as we continue to use it, we both get value from it. It's like constantly giving a gift. So I like that as a sort of experience. Of course, you don't need a massage table in order to give someone a back rub. A foot rub, a full body massage, a holiday parade, walking or driving somewhere without a plan, spending an evening talking with no distractions, making out under the mistletoe, visiting a festival of lights. We try to do this with Ella several times a year. We'll even take her we'll take her to Rodeo Drive, and she doesn't even know that it's a shopping destination, because we take her there during Christmas, and Ryan's gone with us before, and just a bunch of beautiful palm trees with lights all around them.
Yeah.
And because it's so beautiful, she doesn't realize there's retail stores there. I'm sure she will when she gets older, but right now it's just like, oh, everyone's here to look at the lights, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't know that they're going to Louis Vuitton or whatever. We don't take her in there. Watching a sunrise, skiing, snowboarding, sledding, dancing, taking your children to a petting zoo, making snow angels, preparing a batch of hot apple cider, taking a vacation together, watching a sunset. What other experiences can you give? Don't you think you'd find more value in these experiences than material gifts? Don't you think your loved ones would ultimately find more value too? And if you must present an experience in a physical manner, print it on a full color thick piece of paper and wrap it with an ornate bow and ribbons and a box, and gift wrap it to add a material element to the adventure. I think that's one of the things we get really excited about, giving a physical gift,
Exactly.
right? But you can gift the experiences.
And one of my favorite things, it's gone viral almost every year for a reason, for probably the past 5+ years. There's a grandmother who she got a shoebox and she decorated it, and inside the shoebox is 12 envelopes that fit perfectly, and each envelope is labeled, December, January, February, March, every single month, and each envelope is decorated. She took the time to put little stickers and pom-poms and doodles on them.
Very deliberate.
And then inside were things like, here's a gift card to go play putt-putt golf together, with grandmom. And here is, we're going to go to this little cafe together for ice cream. And so she set up the whole year for experiences and togetherness, presents.
Yeah.
And it came in an adorable box, and they can't open the envelopes until the first of each month to see what they're going to get to do with grandmom.
So they get the gift of anticipation as well,
Exactly.
which is
That's
so much
awesome.
more powerful for kids, I found.
That's why they love Christmas.
Yes.
It's the whole month of what's going to happen on that day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not really the stuff. It's just the anticipation of a magical being
Yes.
showing up on your rooftop.
Yeah, yeah.